You know, from ancient prophecies to the latest blockbuster movie, humanity has this strange, ongoing obsession with the end of the world. But have you ever stopped to wonder why? Why are we so completely fascinated by the apocalypse?
I mean, it is absolutely everywhere you look. It doesn't matter if it's zombies, asteroids, some new plague, or a climate catastrophe. Our collective imagination is just overflowing with these vivid, super detailed stories about our own extinction. It's a tale we've been telling ourselves for literally thousands of years, just, tweaking the details as we go.
It sounds kind of backward, right? Why on earth would we be fascinated by something so terrifying? Well, it turns out the answer isn't about some secret love of destruction. Nope, it's actually a psychological puzzle that reveals some really deep truths about how our minds work. And today, we're going to solve it.
So our investigation kicks off with the very first clue, and it's going to take us right inside our own heads, to the basic wiring of the human brain.
This brings us to a concept called the negativity bias. And put simply, it means your brain is kind of like Velcro for bad experiences and Teflon for good ones. Bad news, criticism, fear, that stuff just sticks so much more easily than, say, praise or happy news.
The psychological impact is just crystal clear. A single negative thing can carry so much more weight than a positive one. Our brains are essentially hardwired to be on the lookout for threats, which means all those doomsday headlines and apocalyptic stories, they get VIP access right to the front of our attention.
But here's the key thing. This isn't some bug in our system. It's a feature, a really, really old one. Think about it. Our ancestors who heard a rustle in the grass and immediately thought predator, well, those are the ones who lived to pass on their genes. The ones who thought, it's probably just the wind. Yeah, they didn't fare so well. Our brain's obsession with potential disaster is really just an echo of a very old, very effective survival instinct.
Okay, so our brains are primed for bad news. Got it. But that's only one piece of the puzzle. Let's move on to our second clue and see how this all builds into something even more powerful, our deep, deep psychological need for control.
Just think for a second about the difference between the real world and a good apocalypse story. The real world can feel totally chaotic, right? With these huge, complex threats like economic meltdowns or climate change that have no clear, easy solutions. But an apocalypse story, it has rules. There's a clear enemy, a clear goal, survive, and a definite ending. It brings order to a world that feels completely chaotic.
Psychologically, this whole process is just incredibly appealing. When we feel overwhelmed by those real, fuzzy anxieties, latching onto a really clear-cut doomsday scenario can actually feel, empowering. Suddenly, by understanding the rules of this fictional catastrophe, we get back a sense of control, a sense of agency, even if it's all just in our heads. And this is the crucial point, right here. The structure of a story, any story, is comforting. And in a world that so often feels like a story with no clear plot, a narrative about the end of everything, as terrifying as it sounds, can provide this strange, profound kind of psychological relief.
So, we've got our primal brain and our anxious mind. But there's one last, and maybe the most profound, clue to this whole puzzle. And it taps into our endless search for meaning and purpose in this massive universe.
See, apocalyptic beliefs offer these huge existential rewards. They take a morally gray world and just simplify it into a clear battle of good versus evil. They create these powerful group identities by drawing a line between an us who gets it and a them who doesn't. And all of a sudden, your life isn't just this random series of events anymore. It's a part of some epic, cosmic drama.
And honestly, this is a huge part of the appeal. This idea of being one of the few, the chosen ones, the 1% who sees the real truth while everyone else is just blind. It satisfies this incredibly deep human need to feel special, to feel important, and to feel like you have access to some secret, vital knowledge.
So there we have it. We have all the clues. We've got the threat-scanning brain, the anxious mind that craves control, and the soul that's searching for meaning. Okay, let's put it all together.
It all comes together in this kind of perfect psychological storm. Our fascination with the apocalypse isn't just one single thing. It's this powerful combination of our primal brain always scanning for threats, our anxious mind desperate to create order out of chaos, and our soul's deep, deep hunger for meaning and purpose.
So in the end, our obsession with the world's end isn't some weird flaw in our programming. It's a mirror. It's just reflecting back at us our deepest anxieties, our most fundamental ways of coping, and our most profound desires as human beings. It's really just a story about us.
Which leaves us with one last
big question to chew on. When we imagine the end of the world and who we'd be in it, brave, resourceful, part of a tight-knit community, are we really just exploring who we wish we could be and how we wish we could live in the world we have today?